Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about Bryan Kohberger. He was arrested for the murders of 4 university students in Idaho. If you guys are keeping up with this, you know that it's been dubbed the Idaho 4. Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. 2 of the girls were best friends. Xana and Ethan, they were boyfriend and girlfriend. They were living in an off-campus home, and on November 13th, they were brutally murdered. Police believe that the murders took place between 4 a.m. and about 4:25 a.m. Now, an arrest affidavit came out on January 5th, and it told us that the suspected murderer, Bryan, returned to the home about 5 hours after the murder took place. And that's got everyone wondering, what did he return for? Not only did we find out that he returned, but we also found out that he left behind something with his DNA on it. And it's left people of the internet wondering, did he return back for what he left behind, or did he even realize that he left something behind? So he was showing back up to see if there was a police presence yet. Oftentimes, people that commit these crimes like this, where they murder people, they will show up at like candlelight visuals. They'll show up at things just to kind of take in and watch what's happening. So some people believe that he was showing up to, wait to see if the police were there, if he was going to kind of hang out. Like, what was he doing? We're going to talk about it, and I want you guys to leave me your thoughts on why Bryan showed back up to the scene of the crime 5 hours after he committed these murders. Let's go ahead, let's talk about it, you guys. So like I said, the murders took place on November 13th. 6 weeks later, on December 30th, the police arrested Bryan at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. Now, before they arrested him, they had been watching him for about 4 days. One thing that they noted in the arrest affidavit is that he threw his garbage away at the neighbor's house, and he also wore surgical gloves. He was cleaning his car out. So there were things that they notated in this arrest affidavit that I thought was very interesting, that someone that was innocent, that had not committed a crime, would not be doing. Why that someone that had not committed a crime, why would they be dumping their trash at 4 o'clock in the morning in their neighbor's garbage bin? Why would they be wearing gloves? Why would they be cleaning their car out from top to bottom? It doesn't really make sense. Maybe 1 or 2 things, maybe cleaning his car out. Okay, sure, we all do that. But wearing surgical gloves, dumping your trash somewhere else, doesn't really make sense. Something else that doesn't make sense is that he showed back up at the scene of the crime. Now, before we read this affidavit, we were all wondering, what do they have? What do they have? What's the reason they arrested him? One thing that we learned pretty early on, like the same day of the arrest, was he did in fact have a white Hyundai Elantra. And that was information that was put out pretty early on after the murders took place. Police put it out there that they were searching for a white Hyundai Elantra between the years 2011 to 2016. When they arrested Bryan on December 30th, we found out that day that a white Hyundai Elantra was towed away from the residence. So that was one thing that we could connect, the murder to Bryan. Okay, he has the car. He has the car that we know that was at the scene of the crime, or that was caught on surveillance close to the crime scene and, sped away. So what else did they have? A lot of interesting information came out. They were able to get Bryan's cell phone number, the last 4 digits being 8458. They were able to ping his phone to different towers at the same time that white Hyundai Elantra was often traveling from the university that he went to, which is the University of Washington, to Idaho, Moscow, close to where the off-campus home was at, where the Idaho 4 lived. So his phone was pinging, where his car was often seen. His car is leaving WSU, headed to Moscow, and his phone is pinging in the way that makes it match, right? So that made a lot of sense. Those were things that obviously made it look like that it was Bryan as well. Because investigators were able to pull his phone records and piece together where he was at different times based on those phone records, we know that Bryan actually was close to the house, his phone being close to the house, 12 times before the night of the murders. And then on November 13th, his phone was actually either turned off or it was put on airplane mode, because a few hours before the murders took place, his phone was not pinging anywhere. It was not pinging to a tower close to WSU. It was not pinging close to a tower close to the off-campus home. So investigators say that it seems like his phone was turned off or was put on airplane mode, which they say is something that criminals will often do as a way to make it look like they were not close to the crime scene at the time. But what I guess they don't understand is if your phone is not pinging anywhere, then law enforcement know that you either turned it off or that you put it on airplane mode, and that you were doing so, most of the time to avoid detection. If he would have just left the phone at home, it might would have made it at least look like he was at home that night. However, he made the crucial mistake to turn it off or put it on airplane mode about a few hours before he left. I think it was like 9 p.m. when it went off. And then the phone came back on a little bit after 5. So less than an hour after the murders took place. Keep in mind, where he was staying and where he goes to college is about a 15-minute drive from where the murders took place. So he had plenty of time to leave the area, get back to where he lived, turn his phone back on, but then later his phone pings around 9 a.m. back close to the crime scene. So everyone's wondering, what did he do that for? Why did he go back to the crime scene? Was he going back to look for something? Was he going back to see if there was a police presence there? What was happening? Now, like I said, one thing that we learned from the affidavit, the arrest affidavit, was that the investigators found what they call a knife sheath. I was unfamiliar with this, but I did not know that my husband actually has. This is a K-bar, and my husband is, he's veteran, so he actually has a K-bar, and this is what it is. And if you watch my channel on a regular, you guys know that I've actually shown this. It is very big. It is literally the full length of my chest. It is the full length of my forearm. It's actually a little bit longer. It is heavy, but Bryan actually left this behind, or the murderer left this behind. So people are wondering, did he get home, realize that he did not have this, so he went back looking for it, or was he going back to see if there was a police presence? A lot of people are voicing their opinion online. Someone said, why would he return? Maybe he was looking for something that he forgot. Someone said the knife sheath was found next to Maddie. I'm assuming he was coming back for that. Another person said maybe he was there waiting for a reaction. Someone else saying, did Bryan Kohberger return to the crime scene at 9 a.m. because he knew he left the sheath behind, possibly going back to retrieve it, or to get gratification for his doings? Nothing was out that a murder even occurred at that time, which is true. The first 911 call was not put in until almost noon, which was 7 hours from the time the actual murders took place, or from what we assume, from what law enforcement, they believe that the murders took place between 4 a.m. and 4:25. The first 911 call was put in, I think it was 11:43. So nobody even knew besides the murderer that the crime had taken place. So why was his phone pinging back over there? Was he going back to retrieve something that he forgotten, something that he knew possibly could be linked back to him? Or was he just going to see if the police had been called? What do you guys think? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, you guys, some of his classmates are speaking out to say that Bryan would not discuss the murder of the Idaho 4. Now, as you guys know, he studied criminology, and he was also acting as a teaching assistant at the University of Washington. And according to two of his classmates, anytime discussions of the killings would come up, he would remain really quiet, which they both say is not like him. They say he was very active in discussions. He was always one to speak his opinions and his thoughts, but when it came to any discussion of the murders that took place just 15 minutes down the road from him, he would not speak on it. According to one of his classmates, he described Bryan as an incredibly strong student who talked during class every time. The classmate said there was several occasions where there were lengthy conversations about the killings, but Bryan would not join in the discussion, and that appeared extremely out of character for him. Bryan is facing 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. He appeared in court for the first time on January 5th. His attorney, Jason Labar, said that Bryan is eager to be exonerated and was looking forward to resolving these matters as promptly as possible. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Does it speak to you guys that Bryan would not join in the discussion of the Idaho 4 murders? Also, why do you guys believe that he returned to the crime scene? Do you guys believe that he was there trying to take a chance to retrieve something that he knew that he forgot that could possibly get him caught? Or do you guys think that he was showing up waiting for the police to arrive? Leave me your thoughts. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently from now on. I'm going to be moving all of my reality TV content over to my other channel called The Bash Chat. and all of my true crime content will stay here. Now, it will take me a little bit of time to transition. I will actually still be covering my reality TV stuff on here for a short period, just so I can make sure all of my viewers know to go over to the Bash Chat and subscribe. That channel will be linked in the description box below. It will be the first link. It'll take you right on over to the Bash Chat. That's what it's called, the Bash Chat. So you can click on there, subscribe to that channel for all your reality TV news, entertainment news, celebrity news. We'll be doing that over on that channel. And this channel will become my primary channel about true crime. So please make sure you consider subscribing to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.